Meg O'Neill, welcome to Deep and Ridiculous.
I'm very excited to be here, Ed.
When you talk about the art of loving a man really well, what have you discovered about men's hearts that changed the way that you love your husband, Jacob?
Oh, I love that. Oh, I think, and I've been speaking about this a bit lately, I think for a long time, so I've been with Jacob almost 12 years now, and for many years within my relationship, I think I very deeply oriented from a place of like, what can I get? And how can he, support me and love me really well and be a safe space for me and hold space for me and all of these different things. And so the biggest thing I learned is to honor his heart, to honor that, his safety is also as important as mine is as well, and to tend to his heart. And also, I think a big thing that I've learned about men, but specifically Jacob, as well, but I think this runs across the board with many men, that a man's heart is sometimes a slower burn to open and be revealed than a woman's. And anytime I tried to rush Jacob into sharing his heart with me, or like sharing how he was feeling, or, sharing his internal world with me, anytime I expected him to go at the pace I would go as a woman, he would shut down. And he would feel pressure, and it would create the opposite thing that I wanted. I wanted to feel him. I wanted him to bring himself, and I would feel a deeper distance and a deeper, disconnection. So something the example I always use is, as women, we often need a lot more sexual foreplay than a man, right? Like that's just our anatomical makeup, the way female arousal works. And I often, when I'm teaching women, I say, like, what would it feel like if a man tried to penetrate you before you were ready?
Ooh.
And a lot of the time it's like I'd feel disrespected, my body would shut down, I would want to pull away. And often, if we think of that example, like for a man, he needs a lot more emotional foreplay usually. So when we come in as women, sometimes with our like emotional hard on to be like, how are you feeling? Tell me what's alive for you. Like that can feel the same as like a man not being attuned to our body and wanting to penetrate us too quickly.
Yeah.
And that understanding of how deeply I was doing that in my relationship, and how like disrespectful that would feel to him, and how much that would create a shutdown, like was just so unbelievably helpful to understand. So then I could, just move at a different pace and honor the pace his heart and his body wanted to move at, especially, when I wanted to feel him more and him to reveal more of his emotions.
I've never thought about it like that.
Isn't it cool? Because and I think, so I don't know any woman that would not have had that experience of knowing what it feels like for a man to want to penetrate her or actually penetrate her before she's ready. So I love it as a teaching point, because so many women go, oh, wow, like that is incredible. I know the visceral feeling of shutting down to that. So, that's what my man feels in that moment. Yeah.
Oh, that would resonate with so many people, because it resonates with me. Like that, it's like a hurrying, like almost a forcefulness. It's like, hurry up, come on, let's open up.
Yes.
Let's open your heart. And I'm like, I think about it's like, you can't just stick your dick in a woman,
right?
By saying, let's hurry up, let's fucking go. Like, man, you got to tend to that for a while.
Right?
Yeah.
And like respect the time it takes for her body to open. And I think, the same with a man. It's like respecting his pace emotionally. Yeah. And that's often different. And I know, the work of Alison Armstrong, right? One of my favorite lines of hers is like, your man isn't a hairy woman. And that's like, I use that line again and again and again and again, because I think it's so important in these moments where women think they're doing what's right. It's like, I want my man to open up. So I'm going to say like, open up. I want to hear, like, please tell me what you're feeling. Tell me what you're thinking. Like, what's all that? And a lot of women don't realize, and I was one of these women for a really long time, that within that is the expectation, the energetic expectation of like, give me what tell me what you're feeling. You need to tell me what you're feeling. And you're kind of doing it wrong by not being as quick to express as I am or expressing in the same way I am.
Right.
But men are different creatures, right?
Mm-hmm.
And really owning that and honoring that in relationship is so fucking important.
Mm-hmm. So tell me a little bit about your experience of how you used to show up. I know you shared some things just previously about that, but what are some ways in which you used to show up with Jacob? Because you guys have been together over 10 years now, married for 4 of them, I think. So yeah, how are the ways that you used to show up to him that you realize now weren't actually helping you open his heart?
Yeah, many ways. I think one of them is just the classic, like when I was ready for a conversation and if I wanted to have an emotional conversation and if I was ready to share my heart, I expected him to be ready to have as many words as I had for the experience, to be able to process exactly like I did. And if he wasn't, maybe I didn't use these words, but there was this internal thing of like, he's not doing it right.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, again, this projection of you should feel, express, and process exactly like I do, because I'm a woman that's done a lot of personal development work and the way I do it is right and you're doing it wrong, right? And, you know, obviously now I look back and I'm like, that like no one ever feels safe. No one is ever going to feel a level of safety to open when they are receiving the energy of like, you're doing it wrong or you need to do it like I'm doing it. In any relationship, no one wants that. That is just an incredibly disrespectful energy. And it's so interesting. At that time in our relationship, one of the things that I deeply wanted was more of his heart. I used to say to Jacob, I want to feel you more. Like I wanted access to his internal world. Yeah. And I was asking for it and being like, I'm ready, like, give it to me, give it to me, give it to me, without actually going, oh, like, am I a safe space for it? Just like if we use the example, a man being like, basically like, let me penetrate you, let me penetrate you, you let me penetrate you, instead of being like, oh, have I slowed down my breath? Am I attuned to her body? Have I taken the time to really, you know, open her before I ask for that, instead of just being like, I'm ready for that, let's go. And so that was one of those things. Another piece was I definitely probably had that internal belief that because I'd been in the personal development world and like doing inner work for longer than him and had grown my business more than him, that like I knew better. You
knew way more than him.
I knew way more. I still do. No. But that, and I see that this is classic in like, I guess most women that have done more work, you know, more personal development work than the man they're with. It can be like this, even if they're never speaking it, just like this internal, like, I'm up here and you're down here. I've done all of this work, you still haven't. And this feeling of, yeah, my way is the right way. And so I would, in many ways, not respect the choices he made or try and manage the choices he was making. And if I didn't like a choice he was making, this would happen a lot in like if he was making business decisions, and I would be like, oh no, that's the wrong way.
Do you have an example of that you can share that you're able to share?
Yeah. There were probably many. There was one, like not even a really, this one was probably like 4 or 5 years ago, and Jacob wanted to do, and he's now done this very successfully. He wanted to start the facilitator training.
Right.
And he got feedback from someone who is now his business partner. He got feedback from Ryan Baraclough. I don't know if you know the story, that Jacob put out something that was kind of like, who would want a facilitator training or who would want a teacher training from me? And Ryan Baraclough wrote something like, basically, you haven't been in the work long enough. Who do you think you are to do that? And because at the time I cared a lot about what people thought of me, way more than I do now. And because Jacob was my husband or soon to be husband, I was still in this thing of how people perceive you is therefore how people perceive me. And he was okay with people, he didn't give a fuck that Ryan thought that about him. But I was like, people are perceiving you as not being in the work long enough and doing something out of integrity, and I can't have that. So I really had this conversation with him to be like, do you really want to do that? I don't think you should do that. I don't think that's a good decision for you. I don't think you're ready for, like, just my own shit, right? Instead of coming to him and being like, oh, that makes me a little nervous, or these are the things that are coming up to me. It was very much like, this is the wrong way for you. You shouldn't do that. And yeah, just obviously within that, the message I was sending him is, I don't trust you. I don't respect the decisions you're making. I think what you're doing is wrong. My way is better. And what I'm seeing, I trust myself and what I see for you more than I trust you to lead your life. And yeah, that was a big one. And that showed up in many like smaller decisions in his business as well. And this has been one of the deepest practices for me as a woman. And I'm so proud of like who I am now in our marriage, in that feeling sometimes still comes up in me of like, oh, I'm seeing him do something that I wouldn't do or makes me a little nervous. But my practice now is to trust him. To know that that's his business. That's his life, right? Obviously, if it's a family decision or something that is influencing our life and I feel nervous about, I'm going to bring that, but not in a way of like, you should stop doing that and you need to not do that and my way is better. So yeah, that's been a big game changer. And underneath that, like this has been a lot about my own internal work, my own desire for control. And I wanted him to do things the way I wanted him to do it, because that's when I felt in control and felt comfortable. And if he was doing things in a way that made me nervous, that made me feel out of control, made me feel uncomfortable. And then I was feeling all of this discomfort. Change what you're doing so I don't have to feel this discomfort. And so a huge part of my internal work over the last 4 or 5 years is like, oh, when that discomfort comes, instead of going, change what you're doing so I don't feel this, it's like, oh, I'm going to trust you and it's my job to feel this.
Yeah.
It's my job to feel the discomfort of, I use this this is such a silly, minute example, but it illuminates probably the pattern that was carrying across our relationship. Like Jacob wears weird shit sometimes. Like,
oh yeah.
The cowboy boots he wants to go and buy tomorrow. Like,
I mean, like as long as he doesn't wear those with those
with
jean shorts, it's okay.
Like now it's fun. Like I'm celebrating that decision for him to go and buy those. Like I love that about my husband now, that just the weirdness and that some parts of him do not make sense and they do not fit into what other people think are normal. And like I celebrate that and love that. That used to make me uncomfortable. And he used to wear outfits that wouldn't make sense or I wouldn't like. And I would passively aggressively do things like, oh, you haven't gotten changed yet. We're going to go in 5 minutes. Like, go get changed. Where I knew that he was choosing that outfit. I was just trying to make out that I'm like, I'm not controlling, but also I'm going to let you know that outfit I'm not okay with.
Yeah.
And now it's like, how dare I? How dare I think that I get to choose what he wears? He's a grown-ass man.
Yeah.
Right? He's a grown-ass man. And if he wants to wear that outfit, like it is, I truly believe it is literally my job in relationship to go, fuck yeah, to celebrate his self-expression and to celebrate who he is in the world. So yeah, that's been a really beautiful way of loving him and like respecting who he is. Yeah. And such a beautiful piece for me. I feel like I've just reclaimed so much life force energy in our relationship by not trying to hypervigilantly micromanage who he's being in the world and thinking it's my job to change it or like shift it. It's just like, you be you.
Yeah.
And I get to celebrate that and love that. And if something's uncomfortable, I get to speak it, but my discomfort is really a me thing.
And I really love that about you, how you love Jacob like that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Just like, because I often think about when I'm going out and I'm like, oh yeah, maybe I'll meet a girl tonight. And I'm like, I need to be wearing the right thing. And I'm like, oh, I need to make sure my shoes are clean. I need to make sure, this matches. And then I think about Jacob and some of the fucking shit he wears.
Meg still loves him.
Yeah. Meg hasn't left him yet. Meg decided to have a baby with him.
That guy that wears the short shorts. No.
Yeah. And then I'm like, oh, no, I just need to wear whatever the fuck I want to wear.
Yes.
And the right woman will see me. Even if I look like a dork, she'll see me that I'm enjoying what I'm wearing because I'm wearing it for me because I feel good. That
is an extremely trustworthy and sexy quality. I think it's like, and this is what I love about Jacob's always, there's been elements of him being a nice guy, but no matter what stage of relationship we've been at, when he was really in the nice guy, he would never change outfits.
Mhm.
He's always been, I remember when we first met, he would say, I love when people don't understand what I wear. He almost wanted to be misunderstood. He wanted to be like, I don't do the normal thing.
Yeah.
And that actually was a very attractive quality to me, that even if you're wearing a weird outfit, you're actually owning the fucking weirdness. You're unapologetically owning that. And I think that's unbelievably attractive.
Yeah, 100%. So you've spoken a bit about some of the default ways that you use to show up like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, going back to the art of loving a man really well, what are the things that you do now that are different? Like, how do you love a man really well? How do you love Jacob really well? And obviously, there's some stuff across the board that men really love, but there's also some, individual,
of course,
things. So, start with like what you know across the board, and then lead into,
beautiful,
what Jacob loves.
Yeah. First of all, like the main thing is I started to really practice respecting him. And I think sometimes when I use that word, it can be a bit triggering for some women when they hear that, because I think it has these connotations of like, respect a man, be a submissive wife, let him make all the decisions. And really that is not what I'm talking about at all when I talk about respect. It's literally like what I just said about the clothes. I used to disrespect him as a human by pretty much saying, go and change because I don't like what you're wearing, right? That's disrespectful. Like, I practice respect by being, you made that choice, that's your outfit. I'm going to just simply respect who you're choosing to be and how you're choosing to express yourself in the world. And so that's at the core of everything that I shifted. How can I actively respect the man that he is, the choices he's making, how he's expressing himself in the world, who he chooses to be? And another few examples of that is like, and you've probably seen Jacob do this, at social events sometimes, Jacob holds a fuck ton in his life, right? At social events, it used to really trigger me when he would just tap out and maybe he'd go and like scroll his phone or just not want to talk to anyone. And me, I'm a social person. I want to talk to everyone. I want to go deep with people. I also want to be seen socializing, right? I don't want to be seen as like just sitting there and do it like scrolling my phone or anything. I want to be seen, connecting with everyone.
Yeah.
So that anytime he did that, I would in the car be like, why did you sit there doing that? Why didn't you have a conversation? Why? I want you to come and talk more to people and da da da. And one of the ways that I then really practiced respecting him was like, if that's what he needs at a social occasion, if he needs to sit there and be alone and that's what he needs and that's what the choice he's going to make, I'm going to respect that, right? He's different, right? And if that's who he needs to be so he can show up for me with the unbelievable capacity he has, beautiful. If he doesn't have anything to give to our social group and he has all that he gives to me, that's a price I'm willing to, pay. So just these little ways of like, I just started to track all the little ways that I was basically being like, that was wrong that you did that. The way you said that was wrong. The way you acted there was wrong. The way you wore that decision was wrong. And started to go, okay, how can I release my resistance to who he is being in the world, who he's choosing to be, given that this is the man I'm choosing to walk life with and I'm deeply devoted to him? I can either resist who he is and try and change it, or I can deeply welcome the man he is. And I just started to really track all of the ways that I was very unconsciously and sometimes in very small ways that I thought were harmless, but really I started to realize weren't harmless. And I think sometimes if we flip it, because a lot of women have these patterns of control and patterns, especially I see them playing out for women in the personal development world that have a certain vision of what they want their man to look like or be a certain level of masculinity and all of these things. And I think some women don't realize what it's actually doing with the small little, be more like this, change this. But if we flipped it, and it was like your man was like, oh, you're going to wear that? Right? Oh, do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Like, I think we would really see the issue there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. 100%.
And so, yeah, the respect thing was a really a big piece. And this is when I teach The Art of Loving a Man, this is one of the biggest pieces I teach women. And I think a lot of feedback I get or response I get from some women when I share this is, oh, but I can't respect the decisions he's making or the man he is. And I think that's very illuminating. If you can't and you don't want to try to respect him, that probably illuminates the fact that the man you're with is not the man you should be with, right? If you cannot or you do not want to practice offering this man respect, yeah, you are going to stay in that relationship, living out that relationship, disrespecting him, and definitely not experiencing the best version of him. So I think, yeah, this illuminates for a lot of women. Yeah, if you aren't willing to try to respect this and practice and release resistance to who he is, give that man the freedom to then go and find someone who is potentially willing to respect the man he is and the choices he has.
Yeah.
Or, and I know for some people, maybe there's been ruptures in relationship where a man has done something where they're struggling to trust him again or struggling to offer him respect, but they do want to, continue in the relationship. And yeah, I feel like that is then a practice of how can I work to respect this man instead of holding him in this story of you're a man I cannot respect and you need to change. How can I practice, building up to that? Yeah.
Yeah. In public, I see a lot of women disrespecting men and it's almost like they're trying to correct them, like correct what they're doing, telling them how to make decisions. And I can't be around it. Like,
it's so, once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Yeah.
And even within myself, even I'm so aware of it now. Even there was a moment earlier when I was telling the story and Jacob started telling it and I kind of butted in. And some moments like that, I'm like, oh, like, was I trying to correct him or, right? I can still see the part of me that wants to stay in control. Or other times it's just like this, I want to tell the story.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's when it's such a normalized part of our culture. I often think about when I'm teaching this, I often think about like early 2000s kind of sitcoms and those like Everybody Loves Raymond and those shows where the man is like shown, depicted as like this like dumb kind of guy that can't make decisions and the woman is always the one, correcting him or, carrying everything. And I think that is kind of how a lot of relationships play out. And, there's two parties that play into this. This isn't just a woman disrespecting a man. There's many things at play there. But, I think it's so normalized in... Yeah.
For sure. So we had respect. There's a big one. What else?
I think another way that we can love our men really well, and this is a deep practice of mine with Jacob, and it's another form of respect, it's to clearly express our desires as women and bring them to our men. As women, we are conditioned to suppress our voice and disconnect from our desires. So, but our desires don't go anywhere. We still have very certain ways we want to be loved and desires in terms of how we want the relationship to unfold or things that we want from our partner. So a lot of the time for women, there are desires there, but they don't clearly express them. So then it comes out in like slimy ways, like passive aggressive ways or, super unconscious ways or push down. And then why the fuck haven't you taken me on a date in 6 months? You don't even love me. So one of the ways that we can love men really well is to get very clear on like, what is it that we want as women and actually cleanly express that instead of it coming out as a complaint. Like I always say, this is one of my deepest teachings, under every complaint is a desire. And a lot of women, myself included for many years, a lot of women are practiced in the complaint. You never take me on dates. You're always on your phone, right? You da-da-da-da. But under every complaint is a desire. And the way that we can love men really well is as women to go, okay, my complaint is he's always on his phone. What's the desire underneath that? Like we mine for the gold of the desire. Oh, the desire is I want to just feel like the most fucking special thing to him tonight. I want to feel like nothing else exists and I'm just like the center of his fucking universe. I want just like really deep quality time. It's then the practice of, oh, can I invite him into that? Can I request that? Can I ask for that? Right?
I love how you use the word invite.
Yes. And a desire is invitational. A complaint is I'm going to show you the thing that you're not doing. And within that is like really, no matter how conscious a man is and no matter how embodied a man is, no matter how much he's worked on not being defensive, if we're always focused on the complaint, a man is going to feel like he's never doing enough or he can never get it right. Yeah, that's kind of the message we're sending. So yeah, a desire is so invitational. And yeah, this is just one of the greatest things we can do as women.
Yeah. And like, it's for you because you're expressing your desire, but it's also for him.
Yes.
For the man. I'd love you to go into a little bit more depth in that.
Well, I love, and I think this is an Alison, I first heard this from Alison Armstrong, but this idea that like men love to win. Like, do you love playing sport? Do you love winning things?
I don't like playing stuff that I'm bad at because I hate fucking losing.
Okay, that is perfect. When a man is in a relationship with a woman that does not speak her desires, that is constantly expecting him to guess what she wants and read her mind, that man has no rules for the game that he's playing. He does not know he doesn't have the rules of how do I love
her. He doesn't know how to win.
He doesn't know how to win. He does not know how to win. And as women, we're expecting like, why aren't you loving me really well? Where it's like, this man is not set up. He does not know how to win. This man fucking loves to win. And a lot of the time, I love to assume the best in men. And I really teach women to do that. Like, if you are discerning enough to choose a man that you can feel wants to love you and is committed to you, assume that he wants to love you really well. And if he's not doing a good job of that, have you given him the rules of the game? Have you set him up to know how to win? And expressing our desires is a way that we can give a man a very clear, game plan to be like, this is how you win at loving me.
Yeah.
Of a morning before you go to work, I love, like, you get up earlier than me, but I just love a kiss on the forehead and for you to say, like, I can't wait to see you tonight.
Yes.
Like, just that very, very clear, it's almost instruction.
Yeah.
And some women go, and this is a desire that so many women have, I don't want to have to tell him how to do it, right? And I'm sure you've seen this on Instagram, this whole line of like, if he wanted to, he would.
Oh, yeah.
I hear that and I do understand that, and I really think that is a really powerful line for women dating, to not go, oh, well, if he hasn't texted me in a week, but like maybe all of these things are happening. Well, no, if he wanted to text you, he would. I think that's a very important line for like the dating world.
Yeah.
And if he wanted to, he would. I think when you're in partnership with someone, sometimes there's also the piece of, well, he doesn't actually fucking know what you do want. So if he wanted to, he would, but he wants to, but he doesn't actually know that you want that thing. So he doesn't even know how to give it to you. So I think if he wanted to, he would, kind of holds women in this place of not having to be vulnerable and not having to express their desire. Because if we're looking at that complaint, there's always a desire underneath the complaint. It doesn't take a lot of vulnerability to complain. It takes a lot of vulnerability to share a desire, to say, I want to be the center of your universe tonight, right? Or I want you to slow down when we make love. Or
I'm like, oh, this is what I want to hear from my woman when I meet her.
I love it.
Slow down,
I'm training a lot of women. I'm educating a lot of women on how to, be in this. But yeah, that when I truly believe it can hold a woman in a pattern of armor and in a pattern of, well, he has to do it. He has to make the move. It's his responsibility. But then there's such a lack of vulnerability and never actually speaking her desires into the space and never bringing that vulnerability. And if you want intimacy and depth in a relationship, it is not up to one person. It is not just up to the other person to give you everything you want. You should be riding a line of vulnerability, again and again and again. So the thing that you want is probably going to feel scary as shit to bring to your partner, no matter how long you've been with them. And yeah, this expression of this is how we truly love men is as women get really good at knowing what we want, and they're becoming absolute masters at expressing it and doing our best to express it in the moment. So that's in the bedroom when, I use this example all the time because I think as women, again, it's a lot of women know this place of if a man is going too fast in the bedroom, you become a woman that goes, oh, I would love it. It would feel so good if we slowed down right now. Instead of holding on to that, having sex that doesn't feel good or authentic, and then holding resentment, and then saying that in 5 weeks' time, right? So becoming women that express the desire and are so practiced at doing it in the moment. Which again, for women listening, that's going to feel scary, and that's the point. One of the lines I say again and again in my work is the price we pay to be full spectrum women or fully expressed women or deeply satisfied women in relationship is awkward and uncomfortable. We have to be willing to feel awkward and uncomfortable. And it feels awkward sometimes to bring the thing that you really want. Yeah.
Is there one more you want to share?
Let me just feel into right now. I feel like I've spoken to a lot of the different ones in like many different ways. Let me just see if there's anything else that wants to come through.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the piece in the safety, like how to love a man really well, is also to honor that you as a woman in partnership with that man are part of that man's environment, right? And I sometimes say you have the ability to make or break a man as a woman. And, we say this a lot, like as we see this a lot. There are incredibly successful men that could not have done what they did in the world without the woman behind them, like fanning their flames and just like being a huge cheerleader, vice versa, like incredible women with their men behind them.
Yeah.
But another way that we can love a man really well is to see his power and to believe in that part of him, believe in his greatness.
I'm so glad you're going here.
Be a torchbearer for that, even in moments where he forgets it, right? And I've had many moments with Jacob like this. Yeah, and being able to remind him, like I often say this when I teach this, and this is what goes down in my relationship at those moments. The line I use with Jacob is like, "You're that motherfucker, like you're Jacob fucking O'Neill." And to remind him of like, yeah, not to mother him, not to try and fix his problem, not to save him from the fire or the initiation that he's walking through right now, which I would have done in the early days of our relationship. It's like, you're struggling, let me fix it, let me make the decisions, let me hold us. Where it's like, no, you're an incredible motherfucker. Like, you got this. My job isn't to save you. My job is to sit back and watch you fucking walk through these flames and alchemize that into like more of your greatness. So yeah, one of the greatest things to be able to be a stand for your man's greatness.
You had a reel that you reposted.
Yeah.
Go very viral. And it was a very emotional share from you. What is it about inviting a man into his power that hits you so hard?
It makes me emotional even thinking about that. Yeah, it's interesting. I filmed, that was part of, that reel was like a part of a live I did like 3.5 years ago. So I went on Instagram Live and it was why I went on Instagram Live, because I saw another woman who teaches, the path of the feminine. And she was really speaking about this culture of telling women not to emasculate men is another way to put women in a box. And I did not agree. I was like, no. Like, I believe in women finding their fucking fire and being able to bring their rage and like being in the fullness of themselves. And I also believe in loving men really well. And they can coexist, right? Because you can have all of that and you can still be trying to control and emasculate men. So that's where that live came from. And Yeah, I've reposted that reel so many times, and every time I do it really, and this time it went wild, and so many men, so many men, it was just really deeply landing for. And I think it makes me emotional because I've seen it in my marriage, and I've seen where I wasn't doing that. And then I saw when I started to do that, how it healed my husband. Like, it truly, like, healed him in ways that I just could not have even expected. And Jacob even said this in our vows in our wedding day. He said, "Thank you for loving the parts of me that I didn't even think were lovable." And that's what I see those times when Jacob has been struggling. I know his internal voice is like, I'm not doing it right. I'm a piece of shit. I look at where I'm at. I'm failing. I should be further along. Like, I know that's his internal dialogue, and I know he's making that part of him wrong. I know he doesn't have love for himself in those moments. And so what a fucking gift where I can shine the light of my love and be like, hey, what's here right now is lovable. I'm going to love you in it. So you can almost take my blueprint of loving this part of you, and you can learn how to love that part of you. And remind him, even with the failure of what's happening or the challenge of what's happening, I still am a stand for his greatness. I still see his greatness. And I've seen the power of that in my marriage. I've seen what that does to my man. I've seen how that feeds my man. I've seen how that then feeds his vision and allows him to serve in the way that he does, and then has the ripple in the world in the way he does. So, and I also see that, like, I practice this in my marriage, and I love doing this for other men. Like, I love having a relationship with you, all, like, Jack, all these other men that I love in my life that, yeah, I love being a woman that reflects back to a man that I see his greatness and I see his beauty and I see the great man he is in the world. And yeah, I just, yeah, it feels like a privilege to do that. Yeah.
You're making me emotional.
Yeah. And it feels like such a gift to support women to see that as a privilege too. And I know this is a challenging conversation for some and many women too, because they have experienced abuse, challenge, hurt, pain from men or from the masculine. But I was saying this in a conversation earlier that, like, I think both get to exist. We get to honor the pain we've experienced from men or from the man we're with, and then also simultaneously, like, see the good in men. I think that's the only fucking way forward.
Yeah. It's really beautiful. Yeah. Can we please get some tissues in here?
Don't know if they're available. Tissues or toilet paper?
Shit. You are so good at that.
Thank you.
Like, every time I see you, you just have such a wonderful compliment. And I know you do it with so many of your guy mates and Jacob's friends, and yeah, it really does feel so amazing to feel, to be told that, whatever it is, by the feminine, by a woman. Because even though we're not in a relationship, it's like, oh, there's parts of me that I haven't loved that somebody, like a woman, loves. And like you said before, it helps men to love themselves so they can show up in the world in more of their greatness.
Yeah, and I think that there's so many conversations about women wanting to feel seen, and I think that's a huge part of the women desire in relationship, to feel really deeply seen. And men want to feel so seen too. Oh. Like, they so want to feel seen. And I think knowing that that's a gift, I know the power of that. So it's like, why would I not wield that? Why would I not wield this superpower of, like, seeing someone that I genuinely love and care for and reflecting that back to them? And Yeah, I think just through my relationship with, like, I have such a privileged, beautiful position of loving a man and being with my husband for almost 12 years, but also the position Jacob's in of having served thousands of men. So I get a very deep insight, not only into loving a man, but also the man I love has very deep insight into men.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that, yeah, I just have a really beautiful opportunity to understand men and also see the pain that men carry and the challenges men move through, and the wounded little boy in men, and that they a lot of the time don't feel safe to express, and just what it takes to be a man. Like, I just feel feeling that as a woman, like, we want that as from our men, to understand like the burdens we carry as women, the pain in the world it is to exist as a woman, the beauty, all of it, but also to feel that as a woman, like, to understand, like, fuck, it's a lot in this world to be a man. It's a lot in this world to be a man, and coming, in our post-feminist society, which I'm not against feminism at all, but understanding that parts of that have made, in sometimes our elements of our culture, a man-hating. And the story that men are then internalizing is, I'm bad, I'm wrong. Like, men carrying that, like, yeah, I want to make it part of my work to remind men, the good men I know in the world, that they are not wrong and they are not bad, and there is beautiful, glorious, necessary, needed, incredible parts of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I do think you do a good job of that by loving on the men that are in your life. But you also share it on your social media, and that's reaching thousands of people. And you're sharing, like, when you hang out with a guy friend, you're like, I just love how, how close I am to this person and how he shows up in my life. And then you share the stuff that Jacob's doing, and you make me feel like there's light for men being able to meet women that love men too, and that just aren't in a relationship because of the relationship. Like, I feel like you are helping the world change, helping women change, and that's going to change the world. It's gonna make relationships so much better. And yeah.
Thank you.
I love
I
it.
appreciate that so deeply.
Yeah. I think we need tissues.
Thank you.
We got what I wanted to talk about now. I did want to ask you this question, and you've kind of spoken about it, I believe, in parts, but what experience do you hope a man has when he's truly loved?
Oh, that is such a beautiful question. What experience do I hope a man has when he is loved? Yeah, circling back to what Jacob said in his vows to me, that I have shown him the parts of him that he didn't think were lovable. I hope every human feels that in partnership, but I hope men deeply feel that I think men just culturally are taught to just hold it all together, and to even relationally, like, as women, we speak to our girlfriends a lot more than just like conventionally men do, and we share a lot more, like, and we look at suicide rates, all the things, like, a lot of men are holding their burdens very close to themselves and not sharing them. And I hope men find themselves in relationships and this is a woman can support them in this way, but this is a lot on a man being willing to open and create this experience for himself as well. But I hope he feels safe to like be held, like to be held. That's been a huge piece in my own marriage too. And like Jacob feeling safe to fall apart in front of me and not feel like he has to hold it all together or lead all the time or be the one that is always holding, that there is safety for him to feel. And I really hope men, and culturally we find a place where men feel able to do that. And valued and appreciated. I really hope men feel a sense of value and appreciation. It's interesting. Can I tell a little story?
Yes, please.
There was Jacob put up this post a few months ago. You might have seen it. I think it was just on Facebook, or at least it went kind of wild on Facebook. And it was a photo of me breastfeeding. You couldn't see my breast at all, but like Oshi's face, and I was holding him. It was at a wedding we're at. And then he was just doing, it was like 500 days of me having been feeding Oshi. And he was just celebrating and honoring me. And I think another post of his had gone viral. It was like part of EMI. And so this post then got kind of picked up, and a lot of people found it that weren't following him on Facebook. A lot of men. And a lot of men, well, some were just like incredibly, unbelievably just disgusting comments. Other ones were basically like, why does she need a medal for like doing what she's been born to do? Like, don't give her a medal. Like, da da da. It was just all of this, like, why are you appreciating and celebrating her for breastfeeding? Like, and just very intense comments around that. And my first piece was like, how underappreciated and underfed do those men feel that they're going, how dare you appreciate her for doing that? That was my feeling around that. Like how much those men are most likely going to work, doing the things, and have never been celebrated, never been acknowledged, never been told, hey, thank you for doing what you're doing. And so they just expect everyone to go and do what they're doing and never be celebrated, never be validated, and never be acknowledged.
Yes.
So that's why that was triggering them. And so that post really showed me like, there are a lot of men out there that don't feel valued and don't feel appreciated just for doing the things that they're really doing. And so I hope men, and again, this is not the responsibility, this is not our sole responsibility as women to do this. And it can be supportive to bring into the culture of our relationships with men to become women that are devoted to acknowledging them, especially for, I often say, like the unseen things a man is carrying. So not necessarily just like, thanks for taking the bins out or thanks for going to work, but like, hey, thank you for like waking up every day at 5 a.m. and maybe not seeing, like not getting that time with our family and coming home late and thinking about all the money stuff and carrying that burden of providing for our family. Like that, like seeing those unseen pieces that aren't just about the physical things he's doing, but like the internal things that he's carrying and walking with in life. And I think, that's just and this can go vice versa for men and women,
Sure.
but I think this is such a beautiful thing to bring into a relationship is like, what's the unseen burden that my partner is carrying? And can I just let them know like, hey, I see that looks hard. Not try and take it away from them.
Yeah.
But go like, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That acknowledgement goes a very, very long way.
Yes.
Because it was something you said before about men feeling valued. Men want to feel valued.
They do.
They want to feel like they have a place. They want to feel useful, right? That's how we feel valuable, is if we can feel useful. And I mean, I said men feel that way because they do, but I'll speak for myself. But I feel the best when I'm being useful, and being able to help people. So my brain's always constantly in like, okay, how can I help this person that is struggling next to me? Whether that's, Jacob putting Oisin in the car last night, and I put the shopping in the car, and I go and put the trolley away.
Mm-hmm.
If it's that, whether it's sitting on an airplane and seeing a woman struggling to put her iPad in the seat so she doesn't have to hold the iPad, and I know a way to do it, but I also don't want to butt in. My brain just works that way because I feel valuable when I help people.
Yes. And I think for me, understanding that about men has supported me to then go, oh, I get to support a man to feel valuable and to feel something he wants to feel. And then I get to practice receiving. I'm going to practice asking for what I want and supporting a man to feel valuable. Yeah. And I know there can be so many things that sit on top of that for women, like patterns of hyper independence and not wanting to. There's so many layers of that, and this is but that has been really supportive for me. And I often tell this story because I don't know if you were at our house when this happened, but our friend Jack Brazier was at our house when we lived in Benogan.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like Jack, Jacob, maybe there were a few other men out there, and Jack's partner at the time was sitting there as well. And this is a while ago. And I came out and...
Yeah, just so everyone knows, Jack's very single. So this was a while ago.
Yeah, this is a while ago. This is years ago. Jack is an eligible bachelor.
Yes.
But I wanted a fire on, and I was working that day, so I wasn't out with everyone, and but I wanted to go and do work by the fire because it was winter. I know how to do a fire, and I was like, I'm going to go out and see if one of the men want to make the fire for me. I could do the fire, but I'm going to choose to go out and I also love receiving, so my preference would be to not make the fire. I could, yeah, but it can kind of be this win-win. So I went out and I think I said, hey, I'm just wondering, or I think I said something like, hey, I would love it if a man made me a fire inside. And then Jack was like, yeah, I'll do it. And Jack got up and came and made the fire. Wasn't even my husband. It was another, and then he came up, made me the fire. And then he reflected back a few days later. He said, his partner at the time had said, oh my gosh, Meg just came out and asked for what she wanted. That was mind-blowing to her at the time. And it would have been mind-blowing for me maybe just a few years before that, right? To come out and unapologetically say, I would love a man to make me a fire, and that not be, and a man just immediately get up and go, yes, I'd love to make a fire. But just that dynamic of when I learned this about men, then it's something we can play with
Sure.
And also there's also in my relationship, my husband does so much for me that maybe sometimes I'm like, okay, where can I honor his nervous system and his capacity? So I'm not going to ask that, and he doesn't need to feel, he already feels valued in this relationship. Yeah. I'm not going to, over manipulate that. But I think this is just a beautiful thing to understand when we're in relationship, as women with men, just that the value piece. Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I was just thinking, how do you discern what you want to ask for during the day? It's like, hey, so Jacob, do you feel valued enough today? Oh, you don't? Okay. Can you go and do this for me? Oh, you feel valued? Okay.
I think
I'll go and do it.
I'm almost too good at that now. So he feels very valued.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Well, Meg, there's a bunch of other stuff I want to talk to you about, but we're going to have to run it back another day.
We'll have to do a round two.
Yeah. Appreciate you so much. Appreciate the work you're doing in the world. And if anybody else wants to know more about you, where can they go?
Instagram is the best place to find me. I'm at the.meg.o. That's the place. Or my husband, Jacob, and I run a podcast ourselves too. It's called Sex, Love, and Everything in Between. So yeah, head over there as well. Everything will be in the show notes. Is there anything that you would like to share that you've got going on at the moment with your work? If somebody found this interesting and they want to be in more of your world. I have a program called The Art of Loving a Man, which is very in alignment with what we've been speaking about. And that is on a big flash sale at the moment. And even if it's not when this comes out, I'm happy to honor that flash sale price. So just message me, but that's the best place to start. It's an epic course on, The Art of Loving a Man really well. Beautiful. Appreciate you and thanks for coming on. Thank you. This has been an incredibly beautiful conversation. You. That was so good. Amazing. I loved that. That was so beautiful. Let me detach from. Oh. all snuggled up there. Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
so beautiful.
Oh.